Hello guys, and welcome to the platform once again. And it's interesting to be back once again, and in this time we're going to talk about Novak Djokovic and the unfolding saga of his participation in the Australian Open. And as you are all aware with the situation, we will try to bring clarity to the issue, though some of you are well abreast with the issue out there. Novak Djokovic's participation was in limbo, was uncertain, and prior to that, he was given a medical exemption to participate in the competition, as you are aware. Anyway, if it happens to be your first time of joining me on this platform, please do well to hit the subscribe button, touch the notification bell, share the program to as many viewers as possible, smash the like button if you enjoy my presentation, comment to agree or disagree with the episode in the comment box down below. And if it happens to be on, if you are watching me also on Facebook, do what, follow me and share the program, give me likes and comment as well. Thank you very much for your support. As you are aware now, I post on YouTube and then post on Facebook too, and so make sure wherever you are, you need to be on both platforms to support me. But if even you are on either one of them, you can equally support me within your reach or within your data or within your Wi-Fi coverage, whatever means that you use to connect to the internet. Thank you very much once again. And apparently he was given medical exemption to participate in the tournament, and Novak Djokovic received that and embarked upon his flight, and then which arrived in Australia only to be blocked once again, citing the uncertainty regarding his medical exemption reasons that was given to him. And I understand it's not Novak Djokovic alone that was given medical exemption. There were some other tennis players who were given medical exemption to participate in the Australian Open, and perhaps Novak Djokovic is the leading star among them. That's why he is trending now. And his lawyers, as at now, where we are now, his lawyers, he was blocked from entering Australia. As you are aware, those of you familiar with travel, if you reach an airport in a certain country, it's not automatically that you are in that country. You have to cross immigration checks before you are allowed to freely go about your normal activity or the reason why you travel to that country. So he was at the airport and was not allowed into the country, meaning he didn't he didn't pass immigration checks according to them. The medical exemption that he provided wasn't convincing enough for them to allow him entry into Australia, and his lawyers have filed for the case in court, and on Monday the case will be heard in an Australian Melbourne court, a local court there. So hopefully we will see what will happen there. So let me try to look at the online tabloids, some of them, how they captured the incident there. And I go to let me see, BBC News and how they capture it. Let me look at how they capture it. Number one men's tennis player Novak Djokovic has had his visa to enter Australia dramatically revoked on his arrival in Melbourne amid a huge backlash over a vaccine exemption. Djokovic was held in the airport for several hours before border officials announced he had not met entry rules. As you are aware with my positions on the vaccine, though personally I have taken the vaccine, but I don't think it's an excuse for the world to be free, that everybody has to take the vaccine for the world to be free. I think this is medically unwise, because none of the vaccines that have come through the world has reached this stage whereby everybody in the world should take the vaccine before we are safe. If that is the case, then the vaccine is bogus, though I've taken it. Let me continue. He was then taken to a government detention hot hotel. Anyway, I support a free world. that anybody can so decide if he wants a vaccine or medical injection or not. He was then taken to a government detention hotel. A court will decide on his deportation on Monday. The rule is around an exemption he had to play in the Australian Open. Tournament organizers said the Serbian player who has said he is opposed to vaccination had been granted medical exemption by 2 independent medical panels organized by Tennis Australia, the body that runs the event, and Victoria State. The decision infuriated many in a country that has seen a surge in COVID-19 cases and where over 90% of those over 16 are fully vaccinated. People have also had to endure some of the world's strictest restrictions, and some still cannot travel between states or internationally. On Wednesday, border officials said the 34-year-old had failed to provide appropriate evidence for entry after arriving from Dubai. He's now being held at a hotel in the Melbourne suburb of Carlton, which is used for immigration detention. Non-citizens who do not hold a valid visa on entry or who have had their visa cancelled will be detained and removed from Australia. The Australian Border Force said in a statement, Djokovic's team challenged ABF's decision and a court hearing at the Federal Circuit and Family Court of Australia has been scheduled for Monday. Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison denied Djokovic was being singled out and said no one was above the country's rules. But he added that Djokovic's stance on vaccination had drawn attention. Sorry. When you get people making public, excuse me, I'm having cold, so pardon me. When you get people making public statement of what they say they have and what they are going to do and what their claims are, well, they draw significant attention to themselves, Mr. Morrison told reporters. Though Djokovic's reason for an exemption has not been disclosed, Mr. Morrison said contracting COVID-19 in the past 6 months was not among federal criteria for one. Mr. Morrison, who had initially said he would support the Victoria State's decision about the exemption, is now being accused of politicizing the issue. The Prime Minister himself is under pressure amid the COVID-19 surge, and a federal election is scheduled for May. Separately, the country's Deputy Prime Minister, Bernabe Joyce, said Djokovic should be deported if he had not told the truth. Then he's taking the sovereign capacity of another nation for a joke. Mr. Joyce told the BBC, sorry for Australians, because I don't think a guy is named Joyce. Anyway, let me proceed. Mr. Joyce told the BBC, you can't just wander around the world thinking that because you're really rich, you are really above the laws of other nations. The row prompted Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić to say Djokovic was a victim of harassment and that the whole of Serbia supported him. Mr. Morrison denied the visa cancellation was because of any particular position in relation to Serbia, describing the nation as a good friend of Australia. Outside the hotel where Djokovic was being held, supporters of the tennis player expressed anger at his treatment. The player's father, Sejan, said his son had been held in a room guarded by police at the airport. This is not just a fight for Novak, but a fight for the whole world, he said in a statement. Disappointment and anger. For hours, Novak Djokovic's supporters made their way outside the Melbourne quarantine hotel where he's believed to be staying, many from the Serbian community here. The strength of feeling was palpable as songs about freedom played and some danced. This is a disgrace, Christina told me, draped in the Serbian flag. I'm now reading analysis by Shaima Khalil, the Australian correspondent. This is a disgrace, Christina told her, the correspondent, draped in the Serbian flag. I'm ashamed to be an Australian today. If it's not playing, I'm not going. Yelena wore a white cap with Djokovic's signature that she got 2 years ago when he was here for the tournament. She carries a sign that says, "Thank you, he represents a connection to my home country. The Australian government needs to fix this mess. It's an international scandal and the world is watching." Jalila said her disappointment that he may not be competing evident. Djokovic has landed in the middle of a controversy that's gone beyond tennis and is now at the heart of a political tussle between the state and the federal authorities. And while the player and his legal team wait for the court hearing to resume on Monday, anger and confusion are the overarching sentiment here, whether from those who say he shouldn't have been allowed in or those furious at the thought of him being deported. The world number one has dominated the Australian Open, winning it 9 times, but his attempt to defend his title and go for a 10th may be over before the tournament begins. Spanish tennis star Rafael Nadal, who is in Melbourne to prepare for the Australian Open, said it was normal for Australians to get very frustrated with the case. They are the only clear thing is if you are vaccinated, you can play in Australia. He said, adding, of course, after a lot of people had been dying for 2 years, my feeling is that the vaccine is the only way to stop this pandemic. But former Australian Open tournament director Paul McNally told local media the visa U-turn was unprecedented, saying it smells of politics. Many Australians had previously accused the government of allowing the rich and famous to do as they please, while ordinary people remain separated from sick and dying loved ones. 2 other people were now having their medical exemptions reviewed. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported. Mr. Morrison said the ABF had previously advised Tennis Australia on visa expectations. The Australian Open begins on 17th January in Melbourne. Djokovic has previously won the tournament 9 times. So this is where we are now with the issue, quite unfortunately, and as captured by most media outlets and probably by that of BBC. This is where we are currently. And I think in the first place, my opinion, if you prevent him from entering, why grant him the exemption in the first place? I don't know if there isn't any kind of coordination between Tennis Australia and the Australian Border Agency as well as the Australian government with respect to how this issue could have been, prevented from reaching, the attention that is getting right now. Come on, this is not an issue. He's coming to play tennis. He's not coming to party in Australia. That is my opinion, has been my opinion all day, even before coming to studio, that Djokovic is going to play tennis, and most of them are in their, during this COVID period, they are in their hotels training and then to the tennis courts. After the competition, they go back there. Yeah, it's only after US Open that you see, maybe in some other tournament that you see some public outings and other stuffs after the tournament. But mostly tell him to come and play, but restrict him, don't allow him to go public. So after he plays and whatever happens, he wins or not, he goes back. That is my opinion anyway. He shouldn't necessarily be allowed to mingle with Australia if you don't entertain unvaccinated personnel. Anyway, if it happens to be your first time, do not subscribe to the channel and touch the notification bell. Follow me on Facebook as well. That's where the code is taking me. I think I have to draw the curtains down, though I've finished whatever I've planned to do in this episode. Thank you very much for joining me in this special edition. Cheers. I love you. Bye-bye.